Well, we're starting the bulletin with the breaking news that is coming from Ukraine. Their drones have struck deep inside Russian territory, targeting air bases and destroying more than 40 military aircrafts, is what we're learning. A security official there has confirmed that the attack, saying that the operation, in fact, involved drones transported secretly in containers by trucks, allowing them to reach airfields as far as 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine. Now, Russia has said, and I quote, "Today, the Kyiv regime carried out a terrorist attack using FPV drones against airfields in Russia." So this is a news that is coming from Ukraine. This is, in fact, a blow to Russia's air fleet. What we are learning, Ukraine claims that they have attacked the airbase of Russia. They have destroyed as many as 40 aircrafts of Russia. On the other hand, Russia has now confirmed the damages. They have said that there was a terror attack by Ukraine. So this is as far as the escalation in Russia as well as Ukraine war is concerned. Both sides are in fact saying this, and this most importantly comes a day before the crucial talks between the two countries, which are to be held in Istanbul. So a day before that, on the eve of those talks, we are witnessing that Russia is, in fact, it has also confirmed the damages. It has said that there has been a terror attack by Ukraine. Ukraine says that they have attacked Russia's air fleet. Well, I'm joined by Dr. Sergey Voronov, who's the president of Amicability, and also Ola Vorozibit, who's the journalist based in Ukraine. Thank you for speaking to Republic TV. I would go firstly across to Ola. I want to ask you, now this is happening on the eve of the crucial talks tomorrow between Ukraine and Russia. So now the question arrives is, why on this specific eve has this attack been done by Ukraine?
Well, this is indeed a remarkable operation by Ukrainian special forces. And what had happened, so the over 40 Russian strategic bombers were probably struck by these Ukrainian drones in Russia. And these are exactly those strategic bombers that are bombing Ukrainian civilians every day. Just today in Kyiv, we had over 9 hours of air alert, and Ukraine was also attacked by Ukrainian civilians. This is one of the important thing. We're attacked by Russian drones and also missiles, ballistic missiles. And actually, this is Russia that is escalating over these days before the negotiations. As we, if you were probably following, so previously the number of Russian drones that were attacking Ukraine, and once more, I'd like to underline, Ukrainian civilians were really the biggest in numbers. Now attacking these strategic bombers will mean that we will probably have less of Russian attacks on Ukraine. And as Russia shows also before tomorrow's negotiations, that they understand only the language of power. So this is the answer, the card. Or I would say the biggest David versus Goliath moment during this war, because I would just frankly, this is the moment that may change the turn of the war. Exactly.
Absolutely. Dr. Sergey, I want to ask you one question. Now, Russia has confirmed the damages. They have called this a terrorist attack. I want to understand from you, from what you're learning, what is the scale of total loss?
Yes, it was just a terrorist attack because we can see and everybody can understand that Ukrainian army cannot achieve success on the battlefield. And this is just a step of a proxy war that will not fundamentally change the course of events, and it will not change, of course, the position of Russian Federation during the Istanbul discussion in Istanbul regarding peace and future of Ukraine. Of course, it's very painful because war is always bring some pain to the nations, both nations. But for my opinion, we can see that this proxy war Actually, Ukraine government, they have a lot of very profound advisors from Europe, especially from Great Britain, who can consult them how to do this proxy war. And of course, our position is very open. We only want to bring the justice to the relationships with our countries. Want to support our Russian-speaking population. Want to actually to make the peace on the dharmic level. We follow to dharma, some moral principles. That's why for us it's painful, but it cannot change the course of all events.
So, Ms. Ola, you just heard Mr. Sergey. He said that Russia wants peace, and that is everything that they want. How would you respond to this claim?
Look, Russia wants peace, but it attacked Ukraine. It was Russia who first attacked Ukraine and came to us with a full-scale invasion and also with the war in the Donbass. It was Russia which occupied Crimea, and all of these were Russian language of peace. That's really striking to hear this. Actually, Russia during this war, it ruined just some of the towns in the Donbass, Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which were mainly Russian-speaking, yes, and they are now totally moved to rubbish because of Russian attacks. So listening about the proxy war is also, frankly, it's funny because what Ukraine used even during this operation, yes, these were homemade drones, actually worth, I don't know, 300 or so. And this was the answer that Ukraine finally come out in the years of war when we were asking for the help, yes, from the other democratic states and defending our country. So sorry, but what doctor said is just like it's funny, but I wouldn't love. I can say this is a bullshit, frankly, because like my friend's flat in Odessa was attacked by Russian missiles and also by Russian drones. Odessa, which is partially Russian speaking. So what are you talking about? This is I don't know why you are talking this. And why you don't feel any feeling of, I don't know, shame while talking to me and during this speech.
Well, you see, what is important to point here is that this is happening a day before the crucial talks between the two countries. So, Dr. Sergey, I want to ask you, don't you think this would derail the talks between the two countries? How would this pan out tomorrow?
Yes, first of all, I want just slightly respond to my colleague. Of course, her speech was very emotional because she has some mental vision and of all these historical events which happened between our countries. But I would like to advise to all colleagues from Republic TV and to all audience very carefully listen and carefully to research interview of our national leader Vladimir Putin to the famous for me is number one journalist from United States, Mr. Carlson. And during this 2 hours interview, our national leader very historically, very carefully explained what happened between Ukraine and Russia, how was going on, how East, the collective East, brings this conflict, this deep conflict, especially to destroy our country. And come again to the facts, we should not be so emotional about shame. Of course, I cannot feel shame. I feel only pain because war is always a very dramatic feel. But come again to the Pakistan and India conflict. We know that because of the policy of Great Britain, they destroyed India, Emperor of India, to the different countries. That's why, and they artificially create this kind of conflicts. The same, they create conflict between two brother countries, between Ukraine and Russia. And I am absolutely sure, like a Russian religious philosopher, that in close future, everybody will be open. All the secrets will be open, and of course will bring peace but will peace again. I want to repeat this. We will bring peace on the dharmic level. We should follow to the dharma. We should follow to the justice, to the all the moral values, because only real believer like our national leader Vladimir Putin can bring real peace, not artificial, but real peace between our countries. And regarding our conversation in Istanbul, you can see our representative and advisor of Vladimir Putin, Mr. Vladimir Medinsky, he mentioned about a lot of historical examples of the even famous British and Germany experts and politicians, how they can understand the spirit of Russia, of Russian civilization. We're a very ancient civilization. We are not just a new country, yes? And we always support all small nations around all the world. We always support culture and tradition. We're givers, actually. Frankly speaking, we're givers. That's why Vladimir Beninsky was very expert, very honest during conversation. And I hope again we'll repeat the same experience. We'll educate representative from Ukraine how to bring real peace between our brother countries.
Claims,
I don't want to be
Dr.
educated.
Sergey, in fact, claims
Sorry,
that
no one
only
needs
Putin
to
can
educate
bring
me.
real peace.
This
How
is
would you
really,
like to
sorry,
respond
but this
to
is
this,
inappropriate.
Ola?
Yes, sorry.
I'm asking you, Dr. Sergey says that only Putin can bring real peace. How would you respond to this?
Look, we are experiencing what Putin makes and all his steps for more than 10 years, and in full-scale war for almost for over 3 years. So this does not look, and you don't need to be any expert or anyone to see that it doesn't look like bringing peace. It looks like making war and trying to ruin Ukraine as a country, the country with Kyiv as its capital, which was founded much earlier than Russia itself. And you can also research what was on the place of Moscow when Kyiv was a prosperous a prosperous city. But I don't want to refer to that because neither me nor Vladimir Putin are historians. And if you want to read history, you will find history books which say that what Vladimir Putin said was but once more bullshit. The other thing concerning bringing peace to Ukraine. Peace will come, but it seems that once more, Russia understands the language of war because what they do, they may actually work. Ukraine is open for negotiations, and we were not doing, so we are talking about the operation where Ukraine had finally strategic superiority at that moment. But previous days, this was Russia, which was attacking civilians in Ukraine. Once more, it doesn't look like peace. And then it doesn't look like bringing peace to Ukraine. Ukraine asks about what kind of points during negotiations we will have. But Russia doesn't present anything. Tomorrow, Ukrainian delegation will come to Istanbul without any idea what they need to negotiate about. And if you want to negotiate any ceasefire or any peace in such a large-scale war, you need to prepare at least. But there is no information. So which language of peace are we talking about? I think that is very clear. So if you just see on how Russia behaves, what is done, and what was first, there is an answer, a loss. For us in Ukraine here, we would love to have peace finally, because it's really difficult not to sleep for, I think, for over a year. Like every day, there are air raid alerts at night in Kyiv, in the center, in the capital of Ukraine. You can't sleep because you either need to follow up what the news and where Russian drones or missiles are going, or yeah, so that's the main thing I would say. So if you follow what is going on, and if you follow how Russia behaves, actually Donald Trump, the president of the US, finally said he doesn't know what had happened to Vladimir Putin with his attacks on Ukrainian civilians. I think that's that is clear. So you don't need to look for an answer, alas.
Absolutely. So it remains to be seen how this drone attack by Ukraine on Russia really affects the talks tomorrow in Istanbul. Thank you, Ola and Dr. Sergey, for speaking to Republic TV.